I think being an artist or doing anything with art, it's a combination of like thinking everything you do is amazing and thinking everything you do is horrible all the time. It doesn't matter how dark music is or whatever the theme is. I think what we get out of music is way more than just the literal meaning of it all. If people are connecting with it on that level, then it's worth doing. It's worth the struggle of trying to be this band. It's hard to say what exactly kind of molded the creative intention for Alchemy for the Dead. I'm always kind of searching in my head for textures and sounds, not necessarily like songs or parts or anything, but just like how I want something to sound. I was wanting to change things up from sort of what we'd done as a band on record, you know, with kind of the bigger, real open, roomy sounding drums and kind of just big epic guitars and still contain that thickness and energy, but tighten it all and make it kind of gnarlier and fat and, you know. So in my head, that's what I wanted to get out.
For me, Alchemy for the Dead, when it hit the hardest. The feeling, the theme, it's beautiful and ugly at the same time, you know. The way I explained it to a fan, they were asking us what the new record is kind of gonna be like. And this is before Mario and I even communicated about a theme or a feeling or anything. I had just been pounding the demos into my brain. And I told the fan, I was like, it's like a piece of velvet laced with gold. You know, and when I told Mario that story, he's like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel about it. And we never communicated that before.
I can't believe we're finally recording this song.
I know, right?
It's been,
what, 2014?
2014, yeah. The Alchemist, which is track 2 on the record, is the first minute of that song or so is really what encapsulates that idea that I had. You know, you have that little beat at the beginning, and then when that bass, you know, it's a doubled bass, comes in. It just kind of fucking eats the speakers, you know? It kind of just feel it pushing out like it's gonna break, but still real tight, you know? So it feels kind of claustrophobic and heavy. When we started kind of coming up with those parts, that's when the idea for the record started kind of coming to me as far as the sound that I wanted for it.
That's cool. Oh, fuck up.
That was sick. I want to hear that last one again, though.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready, though?
Are you ready? We really tried to push the boundaries of what we normally would do, and that also involved playing drums and cymbals totally separate from each other and not together. And so for non-drummers, that's extremely difficult to do. Because you have to try and figure out what is physically, humanly possible without actually doing it live. So you have to play the drums with no cymbals, just you know, you have to pretend there are cymbals there and just hit the air. And then when you're done with that, you have to listen to just the drums and then hit the cymbals where they belong. And with the kind of stuff that we're doing, it's not always very straight drum beats. It can be complex.
Oh!
And we did that because Mario is a professional audio engineer, and he had a great idea of how he could make the drums sound different in ways that like you would not be able to make them sound if they were performed live in a typical fashion. That also involved using different drum sets on different parts of songs, different toms, different cymbals. To me, the sounds are always more important, and I think that's why we were able to work together the way that we did on this record and have it work.
For me, you know, I get a tone in my head for specific parts, and I just search it out.
Play a little bit, let me hear that. Yeah, that sounds pretty rad.
And once I find it, I'm done. I'm like, oh, that's it. You know, it's like I don't need to keep digging and fucking around.
You can still hear, you can like hear the strings still, you know?
You don't think it's too fuzzed out?
I don't think so.
The notes are a little clearer. Huh? Once I hear it, I'm like, cool, and I'm satisfied. And that's it forever, you know? Yeah, I like that too.
Sounds cool. You wanna try it?
Yeah, let's try it.
Let's give it a shot.
Technically, all my pedals are guitar pedals, but it doesn't matter. It's doing what I want it to do. You know, some people get so specific or purist about it. You know, it's like, you can do whatever the fuck you want. And I think people like that about my approach to pedals, because I don't know all the technical terms for what the fuck's going on, but I can explain to you exactly how I feel about it and why it works for me. And that's all that matters. He's my emotional support dog. And I'm his emotional support too. That's amazing.
You can see it. The promo shot for the album. I definitely suffer from imposter syndrome when it comes to production work and mixing and engineering. I think it's somewhat healthy because it keeps me on my toes and it keeps me trying to constantly get better and learn, and you know, I think everybody should have a little bit of that. With other people's music, I tend to be just pretty confident these days and make decisions relatively quickly. But when it comes to working on my own stuff, for some reason, I just second guess myself over and over again. I think I'm just so hyper-focused on so many things at the same time, and so I don't have that big picture view that I usually do when I'm working on other people's music. It just takes me through this fucking roller coaster of emotions and like fear and nerves, and it's a complete mindfuck for me, and it's super stressful and emotionally draining, but I don't think there's a way to really break out of it other than to not give up. That's the system I have to get over that, is just don't stop. Hands over feet! Better than blade! Hands over feet! Better than blade! There's a moment in my head of like when we hit this one chord, we were in the studio practicing and we had just kind of figured out this part that we were gonna play, and it was like the fucking sky opened up. Like I found what music is gonna be for me. And it was all about that fucking massive shaking room. For me, I wanted to invoke and provoke emotion, and I want you to feel me and hear me, and I want to make this song what it should be. There was no focus on me. As a bass player, my focus is on you, and how can I make you feel, and that's all that matters.
As you get older, you start to sort of think about like how these things resonate in your life so that you look back and go, oh, I'm really proud of this thing that I did. And so if you can understand that like that is the dream, there is no dragon to be chased. If you're in a van driving to another city to play a show, or you're recording with your friends and making music that you like, if it's like happening that way, you're fucking killing it.
Creating and performing in spotlights means everything to me. I'm doing what I love with the people I love. I wouldn't want it any other way. We're here for such a short amount of time. I couldn't imagine it any better.
Some of the responses that we have gotten from people who like the band and who fall in love with the music, and like, it's insane to me still, like that's even a possibility. It's just incredible. And we get a lot of messages from people just saying we made their day better, we changed their life, you know, got them out of a big depression slump. And if I can actually help somebody with the thing that I love the most, then that's everything to me.
To connect with people through our music is just, I mean, you couldn't even make a drug to make me feel that way, you know? They're the reason why we can exist. So when they're that impacted, it's just flooring. I still can't believe it. We immerse ourselves in what we love and we're doing it, and we hope you're there too.